Hey guys, I don't tend to review dating sims, but Steglosaurus Game Development sent me Paper Shakespeare, Very Naked Hamlet, and I had to try it. So today, that's exactly what we're reviewing. Very Naked Hamlet is already available to buy on Steam, and I wanted to give you guys my thoughts on the story, the art style, and everything else you may want to know before you dive into it. So just a super quick overview of Very Naked Hamlet. It is a dating sim slash VN set in, I assume, an acting school, and you're tasked with taking on the role of Hamlet in a play. And for some reason, the whole thing is actually one big lucid dream. I was really interested to see if you'd need to know the plot of Hamlet or actual lines, but don't worry if you never paid attention in your English lit class, because you don't, not at all, you just need to know vibes. So Paper Shakespeare is available on Steam for just under £6, so it is pretty cheap, even if it is a little bit more on the expensive side for indie dating sims. But if you've ever wanted to woo your fellow actors in a play, and you're not too sure if Very Naked Hamlet is the game for you, feel free to keep watching. So my biggest issue with dating sims overall, and I think maybe everybody's biggest issue with dating sims, is sometimes I just do not like the art style. And given that the bulk of the game's charm comes down to if the art style is good or not, and if the way things are drawn and stylized is good or not, it can absolutely be a deciding factor on if I buy a game or just completely pass. So Very Naked Hamlet's art style is really great though, and I have absolutely no problems with it whatsoever. The overall style is quite soft and dreamy, like generic anime style. And the backgrounds also look great. I'm not sure if they were designed by Steglosaurus or not, but they do look really good. The interface is also super easy to navigate and looks fine, and it has a really generic, easy to read font. I think the only visual type thing that I didn't like at all is the weird shaped hearts on the main menu. The rest of the art does look super polished, and then there's just some weird scribbly type parts on the main menu. I really don't get it. Maybe I'm missing something, maybe this is just something that Steglosaurus Game Development does. I don't know, but it was just quite weird to see when I booted it up for the first time. It kind of just feels like maybe they were rushed to get them done, to get the game out on time, but I don't know. If you look at the achievements on Steam, on the actual store page rather than on your profile, the art style for those is also the same as the weird scribbly hearts. I'm not too sure what that's about, but if you look at the achievements in your profile, they look fine and it's all the same character. So when you first launch Very Naked Hamlet, it will be in windowed mode, as is pretty common, but there is a full screen option once you get in and start playing. I don't know if anyone's ever had any sort of issues running indie dating sims, but it does run perfectly fine. There's no problems with full screen or windowed, and it just looks great. Like, there's no weird stretching, there's no artifacts, everything looks fine. So the story of Very Naked Hamlet is pretty simple, although I don't know if any other dating sims have the same / similar plot. I don't know about other games from Steglosaurus either. So one thing that you'll notice throughout the game is that they really love to tear into themselves. So when you first start, I believe her name is Samantha, she will be explaining to you everything that's happening and, things about the play and what's going on and how to play. And there are a couple of jokes about people saying that it would have been a bad idea to make this game purely because not everybody knows Hamlet. Although it is a really good idea for a story and one that I was super excited to test out, I was kind of let down by the fact that you don't need to know the plot of Hamlet and you don't need to know any lines either. I mean, I'm definitely happy that I didn't need to remember any lines because I definitely don't think I could remember them now. But you kind of only need to know vibes and you can absolutely just guess. I mean, it definitely makes sense, but yeah, there's no consequences for messing up lines, I don't think. The only thing that will happen if you do manage to get the wrong vibes is you won't score high enough with certain people depending on the scene. But yeah, I think it's just easier to romance people if you get them correct. So the way that romancing works in Very Naked Hamlet is pretty easy to grasp. It's super simple, super generic, although I do have a couple of issues with it. So in Very Naked Hamlet, you do have a bunch of different stats that you can level up and all that good stuff. And by leveling up those stats, you actually have a higher chance to score highly when you're doing certain scenes. So every romance option has certain emotions that they like, such as passionate or sad. And if you want to romance somebody, you have to perform those scenes whilst you're acting in order to build that romance up with them. So at the start of the game, you are told what everybody likes. Now, there are quite a few options. There are lots of different people that you can choose to romance in Very Naked Hamlet. And it's pretty easy to forget what they like because there are so many people, and I'm not gonna lie, it's really annoying to try and navigate the menu. So if you do manage to forget what everybody likes, that's absolutely fine. You just go back to the main menu and run through the list of options. Unfortunately, there is no option to just select one of the characters. You will have to wait through the entire list, which is incredibly annoying if the person that you're trying to get the options for are at the end of the list, or if you accidentally click past them. So yeah, I just feel like they could have added in just a menu where you can just click on each individual romance option, and that would have been fine. It wouldn't have taken away from the game. I don't know why they didn't do that at all, but I don't know, I'm not a game dev. So looks-wise, I think all of the characters look really cool, and there's so many people to choose from. Like, it doesn't matter what your taste is, you're probably gonna find somebody in Very Naked Hamlet that you like. I think they all look really great. They're all drawn really well, and I think there's so much variation in the male characters, but for some of the female characters, I feel they're a little bit samey. The dialogue is really great though. And I did notice a couple of typos in the game, which isn't a massive issue, but I still figured I'd mention it just in case anybody is totally against typos, kind of like I am. One thing that I do really want to note is that although Very Naked Hamlet is rated 18+, it's definitely not on the same level as Honey Pop. The writing is very much 18+, but most of the art, if not all, is safe for work. So yeah, it's not going to be that awkward if somebody walks in on you playing it, but yeah, if you're looking for something like Honey Pop, this is definitely not on that same level whatsoever. So Very Naked Hamlet is a super fun idea for a dating sim, and I really did enjoy playing it. I do have a couple of issues with the menu navigation and the typos, but overall it's just a fun, interesting game. The love interests are pretty great, even though I do wish they had just a smidge more depth to them. I am super glad that Stegosaurus let me try that game, and I'm probably going to replay it at some point to test out some of the other romance options, because I just kind of ran through with the first one that I saw and I was like, yeah, okay, you're the one for this playthrough. It's definitely a decent playthrough if you're interested in a dating sim that tackles Hamlet, and it's just downright easy to play without really putting too much thought into it, because again, the consequences are just kind of non-existent, they're not there. You'll definitely have an easier time if you play it properly, and maybe you go ahead and study some Hamlet before you install the game. But yeah, you don't really need to think too much, it's absolutely fine. There's no deep puzzles or anything like that. And again, as I said, the art is absolutely awesome. There are a couple of things that I did mention, and I do also really like the writing. So the writing itself is very 18+, as I said. But everything else, totally fine for people to walk in and see what you're doing. Just as a quick side note, if you're into Steam achievements, Very Naked Hamlet does have achievements enabled. So in terms of the amount of them, there are a whole bunch, and then there are 11 secret achievements to unlock. I don't quite know what achievements I have at the minute, but I'll take a screenshot and post it like here in the video. But yeah, so overall, Very Naked Hamlet is a super fun playthrough. I enjoyed it. I think the art style was awesome. And aside from those tiny few issues that I had, it was definitely worth playing, and I definitely think it's worth the £6 that they're asking for it. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Did you enjoy Very Naked Hamlet? I don't know, I'm a big fan personally. I just think, most of it looks very polished and the writing is very good, but then there's just some things that kind of let it down ever so slightly, which I don't think anyone else is going to care about other than me.